Hi, this is Charli Cox from Raw 12:51am, and on the 22nd of May, I went down to the Southam and Kenilworth Hustings, and here is what each of the candidates had to say. First up, it's the Conservative incumbent, Jeremy Wright. How did you find the Hustings tonight?
I thought it was fascinating. First thing I think you notice is a lot of people. People are coming out, they're interested in this election, they want to hear the arguments, and I think people were very engaged in the debate that was taking place.
How is your campaign going?
Well, I'll let you know on June the 9th. I think it's going as well as it could. I think one of the great challenges of this constituency, as all the candidates will be finding, is how big it is. It's huge geographically. There are a lot of different communities. Getting around everywhere is a real challenge. I take the view, actually, that you should do as much of that as you can. I also take the view that even if you are the incumbent, you should be coming to hustings like this, and I'll come to all the hustings there are. And also, you should do more than that. You should hold your own public meetings. I'm going to do 9 hours of it in the course of this campaign, where it will just be me standing in front of whatever audience shows up and answering whatever questions they want to ask. Old-fashioned, I agree, but I still think it's the best way of doing it.
What are your top 3 issues in this election?
Top 3? Well, look, I think this is an election about leadership, and it's an election about leadership because we've got these Brexit negotiations to carry out. I don't think anyone can ignore Brexit. I don't think it's what this election is entirely about, but it's certainly one of the top 3 issues. I think social care has become an issue in this election because, I would say, the Prime Minister's been brave enough to raise it. Everyone else is saying, look, social care is a big problem, we know we've got to deal with it, but we'll have a commission, talk about it a bit more, decide later. What she's done is to say, look, actually, we can't carry on talking about this, we've got to do something about it, and so put forward a proposal. Now, people will pick holes in it, people will throw stones at it, but at least she's been prepared to discuss it, so that's another. And beyond that, I think there are actually a multiplicity of different issues. Different places you go, different people have different things to raise. One of the things you have to do as a Member of Parliament is to respond to those as they come up.
And finally, obviously, we're from the student radio station at Warwick, so what would your message to students be during this election?
Get out and vote, and actually do it whichever party you want to support. It is hugely important that you engage. As we speak, it is 20 to 10. You've got about 2 hours and 20 minutes to register to vote. So it is not too late, and I think all politicians worth their salt should be prepared to accept that whichever way people vote, it is better that they do vote than that they don't.
Next up, it's the Labour candidate, Bali Singh.
Yeah, I enjoyed the hustings. I think it was done in a positive way, but I think we did debate the real issues as well and highlighted the differences between the Labour manifesto, which is visionary and looks towards investing in the future, and the Conservative manifesto, which is more of the same really, which is divisive and full of despair.
How's the campaign going?
Yeah, I think the campaign's going quite well. We're making an impact. What we're doing is we're highlighting to the general public that there is a choice and that you can make a difference. Now, we know Kenilworth and Southam is seen as a very safe Conservative seat, but what we hope to do is actually change people's mind in this election, and you do that by engaging with constituents, engaging with residents, even those who initially might not agree with you. But I think by engaging, you can start changing minds, and I think by building that rapport with the community, by showing that engagement and showing that commitment, you can change minds.
What would be your top 3 issues for this election?
So top 3 issues are definitely anti-austerity. We need to ditch austerity, and that's been creating, I said again, despair and division in society. We need to invest in our country. We need a proper green economy. So we need to invest using our industrial strategy and our regional and our national investment banks to invest in a proper green economy. So that, for example, by 2030, we have 60% of our energy production by renewable and green sources of energy. Okay, so the third one is to avoid a hard Brexit. So there's a kamikaze Brexit being proposed by the Conservatives. What we will do is scrap the Conservative plans for their kamikaze Brexit, and what we would do is work with our European partners to make sure that there is no hard Brexit.
And finally, seeing as we're from the Uni of Warwick, do you have anything specifically to say to students about the election?
Okay, so definitely, I know today is the last day for registration. But if you've already registered or are going to register, I don't know when this is going to be shown or recorded, or played, is to go out and vote and make a difference. Now, honestly, I genuinely mean this. It doesn't matter who you vote for, but do that. Make sure you do vote. Because ultimately you need to protect your own interests and actually influence the political debate. Now, for too long, I think young people have been ignored in politics. Now, you can see that with the policies on student fees, the reduction in housing benefit, generally the reduction of investment in our young people. Now, for young people to have a say in their future, they do need to vote. So I urge all young people to go out and vote and make a difference.
Up next, Richard Dickson for the Liberal Democrats. How did you find the hustings this evening?
Well, one very positive thing, there was a huge number of people here. I should think at least 300 people. I've been to hustings in Kenilworth before and we've never had that many. However, the average age was probably about 55. I saw one person, I think, and she was my youngest daughter who was under the age of 20. So that's a downer. We had some very good questions on a broad range of subjects, but not one on education. And that's one of the major issues in the election.
How's your campaign going so far?
Well, the campaign is going very well. We're getting lots of positive feedback. We're building on the success that we had in the local elections just a few weeks ago, where we came second across the constituency. The Kenilworth and Southam constituency, which includes parts of Warwick University, so we do have lots of students and obviously lots of staff as well, who are voters in the constituency. It's an odd shape. It's Kenilworth, it's Southam, it's lots of villages, it's Wellesbourne, it's Kyneton, it's Bishop's Hitchington, and there's lots of fields involved there. So we're getting out and about, and there's a huge campaign online as well.
What would your top 3 issues be in this upcoming election?
Well, top 3 issues are very easy actually for me, which I spelt out here. The first one is what does good Brexit look like, and how are we going to make sure that we have a say in what good Brexit looks like, which is why Liberal Democrats are talking for a second referendum. The second issue is investment in public services, particularly education, stopping the cuts that are taking place in health and in social care. Which is why we're proposing to put a penny on income tax for health and to have a health and social care commission. And the third and most important issue is choosing an MP that represents the wishes and needs of constituents first and foremost.
And finally, obviously we're from the student radio station at the University of Warwick, so what do you have to say to students during this election?
I would say to students to think long term. To think about what sort of country and what sort of world do you want to go out from Warwick. Maybe you'll stay here, I don't know, but maybe go out into the world. What sort of world do you want to live in? Do you want to live in an open, tolerant and united sort of world, which is the Liberal Democrat world, a world that's keen on continuing its international development, keen ideally on staying in the single market, keen on freedom of movement so that we can all go and work wherever we want to work. And that's the sort of world that Liberal Democrats believe in.
Up now, it's Harry Qasim for UKIP. What did you think of tonight's hustings?
I thought it was very productive. I thought it's always healthy to have candid and open political debate. I think it's a very good way of people expressing their views, exchanging their views, and thinking very seriously about the issues which face this country.
How's your campaign going so far?
It's going very well so far. I find that many people are very open to our party and are hopeful that we will produce a good result. We got 11.8% of the votes last time. We came third, and I'm confident that we should get a respectable tally this time. I believe there's a very healthy vote for us. I think HS2 is a massive issue in this constituency, and we are the only mainstream party. I don't count the Greens as a mainstream party. We're the only mainstream party that are that are against HS2 and in favour of spending the money elsewhere.
What are your top 3 issues for this election?
The top 3 issues for this election are, I think, firstly, the Brexit, getting a proper Brexit, getting our independence as a country back. I think that is extremely important. I think the second issue for Kenilworth and Southam is HS2. I think we should reconsider that. It's still time to reconsider. There's still time to stop this ghastly project. And the third issue is very much on the doorstep, is immigration. And getting a sensible immigration policy is absolutely crucial to this country and its future.
Cool. And finally, we're students from the University of Warwick. We're representing the student radio station. So what message would you have to students during this election?
Well, the message I have for students is don't think along the lines of those running the education establishments think in this country. Think outside the box. Think about these issues in a fresh way, think in ways that may seem unpopular with your colleagues and your friends, but try and look at these things afresh for yourself and look at them on the issues rather than just being too swayed by your friends and by those surrounding you. It's very easy when you're young to be too influenced by your friends and by those around you into thinking certain ways, when really what you should be doing is looking at them yourself and thinking yourself, really, is this the right thing to do, or is this the wrong thing to do? Is this the right policy or the wrong policy? And thinking these things strategically for yourself and being prepared to be unpopular. I think it's very, very important in politics to be unpopular. For instance, you witnessed I was unpopular in the room in the climate change issue. I was ridiculed for that. But it doesn't stop me having the opinion I have, and I hope that one day people will think, well, maybe Harry Qasim was right about that particular issue. And that's the way we should think. We should not be frightened of being unpopular, because once UKIP were ridiculed as being a party that was never ever going to achieve Brexit. And look where we are now.
And finally, Rob Ballantyne for the Green Party. So how did you find the hustings today?
I thought it was really good. It was quite a lively debate. I thought it was going to get a little out of hand at the start when there was all the heckling going on, but no, it calmed down and it was a good debate. There was some. I think I tried to project what the Green Party stood for. I hope that came across, and it was good to see the reaction to that the audience had to some of the ridiculous comments that the UKIP put out. So that was good. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
How's your campaign going?
Very low key, to be perfectly honest. We have very limited resources, and we have to really concentrate those resources in areas where we've got a decent chance of winning. We're trying to build a bit of a green momentum in the area. We're quite strong in South Leamington on a local basis, but we're a long way from sort of making a real impact in a constituency wide. So obviously by attending events like this, I'm trying to get the message across, and we're hoping to build for the future.
What issues do you think are the most important in this election? Sort of if you had to give like your top three.
My top three. Inequality is a huge issue, and we create vast amounts of wealth in this country, and yet we have people who are dependent on food banks. And it's an absolute disgrace in as rich a society as this is. The other issue, which I did allude to during the hustings, was housing. Housing should be seen as housing and not an investment. We've gone away in this country from regarding as houses somewhere to live and more towards regarding them as investments. And the trouble with that is we're getting foreign investors coming in, buying up our housing stock, forcing up the prices, and so they become inaccessible to local people. Yeah, we need to stop that. We need to stop people having second homes, because that's a problem as well. We need more council houses so that people can have somewhere affordable to live.
And I guess finally, the Uni of Warwick, where Raw 12:51am was brought up a lot during that discussion. And so is there anything you want to say specifically to students?
Well, I think like the Johnny-come-latelys to the party, we are in favour of free tuition for university students. It shouldn't be seen as a commodity that we buy and then, obviously I really feel sorry for students these days. I mean, I had a free university education. I had a grant for my living allowances, and so I left university with no debt at all. And I'd hate to think what it must be like to be a student these days. And for obviously, I know what it's like, because my daughter has graduated a couple of years ago, but even she hasn't been saddled with the sort of debts that we're now seeing. And so we need to reverse all that. We need free education for all. We're a rich society. We can fund it properly. We need basically higher corporation tax to pay for all that sort of thing, because companies benefit from having educated people in society, and they really should be making more of a contribution.
That's all for now. Don't forget to vote on June the 8th and tune in to Raw's live coverage at radio.warwick.ac.uk/live.